Alright people, so we will discuss about different permutations applicable here. The bird is a little dirty. Alright, let's get this cleared off. Okay, so these are basically short theorems on permutation. It's not necessary that you remember these theorems, but it's important that you understand the concepts of these theorems. Okay, so we have here the number of permutations of n objects taken R at a time when a particular object is to be always included in each arrangement. Okay, so the number of permutations of n different objects taken R at a time when a particular object is to be always included in each of the arrangements is R n minus 1 P R minus 1. So what we have done is, out of the n different objects that we had selected one object. So now we will be left with n minus 1 objects, and again the place of this one object is fixed. The place of, so let's say we have this R places to be filled, 1, 2 and so on and so forth. We have R places to be filled with n objects. Now we have fixed any of these places for this one object. So we will have n different places to be filled. So one place is gone. So this is, one object is gone. So we are left with n minus 1 objects, and with regards to places we are left with R minus 1 places. So this can be done in n minus 1 P R minus 1. Now what happens is, this object that we have selected, the selected object can be filled in any of these places, first, second, or let's say till R number of places. The selected object can be filled in any of these places. So we have here, how many ways can be filled these R places with the selected objects? With the selected object we can fill, so we have R options to fill this one object. So if I fill it here, the remaining number can be arranged by n minus 1 into P R minus 1. If I fill it here, then the remaining number of places can be arranged with n minus 1 objects in R minus 1 ways. So this will be n minus 1 P R minus 1, n minus 1 P R minus 1, and so on and so forth, n minus 1 P R minus 1. How many times? R times. So this will be R n minus 1 P R minus 1. This will be the number of times. R n minus 1 P R minus 1. This will be the number of times of filling it. Okay. Alright. So we have here number of permutations of n objects taken R at a time when a particular object is never taken. So it's very simple. Okay. So number of permutations of n different objects taken R at a time. So n different objects taken R when a particular object is not. So this particular object is not there. So we will have n minus 1 objects. The number of places, however, is not reduced. The number of places is, or the number of arrangements is still R. So here we have n minus 1 P R. A particular object out of the n objects is never taken. So this will be the number of objects left, that is n minus 1 and P R. Okay. Alright. So we have here number of permutations of n different objects taken R at a time. Number of permutations of n different objects taken R at a time when two specified objects always occur. Two specified objects are always occurring. So we can do this in, let's say, two specified objects. So we have here, let's do one thing. If we keep the two specified objects separate, so how many objects will be left with? Obviously n minus 2. And how many places are we left with? Obviously R minus 2. Two specified objects are always taken. So we will be left with n minus 2 objects, and the number of places or the number of arrangements would be R minus 2. So this is, now we consider these two objects to be 1. Let's say these two objects are considered to be 1. So in how many ways can we place them? In how many ways? In each of these places. So we here we will have 1, 2 and so on and so forth till R. Okay, till R. So in each of these places we can fill those objects in how many ways? Obviously we are left with now r minus 1. There is only, this will be basically r, this will be basically r minus 1 places to be filled, and this will be n minus 2 p r minus 2, because we have already arranged all the other objects. So the number of ways in which we can do this is r minus 1. There were r objects, there were basically r places to be filled by n objects, out of which we have already taken out 2 objects, so we will be left with n minus 2, and r minus 2 places to be filled. R minus 2 places to be filled because these 2 objects are considered to be 1. Now these 2 r minus, so now we will be left with these 2 objects can be placed in r minus 1. These 2 objects can be placed in r minus 1 ways, and within themselves these 2 objects can be placed in factorial 2 ways. So factorial 2 ways, so this will be the answer. Factorial 2 into r minus 1 to n minus 2 p r minus 2. So these are certain theorems which are very much in use, and we will deal with certain problems regards to this. Okay. Okay, so we have some simple problems on the concepts that we just now dealt with. Okay, in this question, in how many ways can the letters of the word pencil be arranged? So letters of the word pencil be arranged so that n is always next to e. N is always next to e, and n and e are always together. N is always next to e, and n and e are always together. So let's do this. Okay, so we have this word pencil. We have to arrange the letters in such a way. The first case says that n, so e n, so n is always next to e. So this combination has to be catered to. Okay, so how many letters will be? So in total we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 letters, and in the 6 letters e n is always taken together. E n is always taken together. In the 6 letters e n is always taken together. So in that case we can consider them to be one letter. In that case we can consider to be one letter. Okay, so how many ways can this be arranged if e n is taken as 1? So 1 and 2 3 4 5. So this will be the number of ways. So we take en to be one letter, so that will be giving us 5 letters, and this can be arranged in 5 ways. Okay, en are always together, so we are taking them as one letter. Okay, so this will be 5 into 5 factorial 5 upon 0 factorial, which will be factorial 5. That will be 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That will be 120 ways. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the second case here, in which n and e are always together. Now let's understand this. E and n being together, n is always next to e. So there is just one arrangement that is possible. Now if e and n are always together, that means there are 2 arrangements which are possible within them, that is ne and en. So this can be done in factorial 2 ways. So now the number of ways will be again factorial 5, that is 5p5, but within themselves these 2 letters can be arranged in factorial 2 ways. In this case e and n was just one arrangement, so that n is just next to e, and hence we got just factorial 5 ways, because instead of considering 6 letters we have considered 5 letters, wherein e and n combination has been considered to be one letter. Okay, because of which we were getting factorial 5 ways. Here n and e are together, but who is coming first, that has not been specified. Here e and n are together, but n is next to e, which means that it has been specified that there is only one arrangement of en that is possible, and hence we are taking them combined as one letter. Here n and e and n, this can be arranged. So again the process here would be that e and n together are taken as one letter. The process here is, so this can be done in the remaining letters. So if we take them as one letter, 1 2 3 4 5, so if we take them as one letter, so again we will get factorial 5 arrangement, that is 5p5 arrangements. But here who is coming first, it is not specified. They are definitely together, so they can be arranged in factorial 2 ways. So each of these will be arranged in factorial 2 ways. So hence we will have 2 into 120, that is 240 ways. Okay, so this is done. Let's move on to this one. How many different words can be formed with the letters of the word equation so that the words always begin with E? Now let's consider this word equation. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Factorial 8 ways is the total number of arrangement that is possible. If we fix the first place for the letter E, how many different words can be formed with the letters of the word equation so that the words always begin with E? So if we fix this place for E, we will be left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this can be done in factorial 7 ways, or we can say 7p7 ways. Okay, so that will be 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That's basically 7 6 of 42 into 120, whatever the answer comes to be. Okay, all right, now the words begin with E and end with N. So now we have fixed two places out here. All the words are beginning with E and ending with N. So there are remaining 1 2 3 4 5 letters. So this can be done in now 5p5 or factorial 5 ways. This can be done in factorial 5 ways. The words begin and end with a consonant. The words, okay, now look at the consonants out here. What are the consonants? Q, T and N. So there are three consonants. There are basically three consonants. And what is said here is the words begin and end with a consonant. So basically at the first position and at the last position we have to fill a consonant. Okay, so there are two places to be filled by three consonants. So this can be done in 3p2 ways, and what will we be left with? So now we are left with the different letters 1 2 3 4 5. So this will be done in factorial 5 ways. So 3p2 into factorial 5 ways. Once we have arranged the two letters, that can be done in 3p2 ways. The remaining 5 can be arranged according to their own, which is factorial 5 ways. Okay, so this is also done. How many words can be formed from the letters of the word triangle? Okay, how many words can be formed? Obviously we have here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Remember, if there are letters or alphabets which are repeated, we will have to take it in a different way. Here there is no repetition, all letters are distinct. So the condition of permutation is that all are distinct. Okay, now here we have factorial 8 ways. So that the first answer will be factorial 8 ways. How many of these will begin with a T and end with E? So if we fix this first position and this last position for T and E, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So that will be done in factorial 6 ways. Okay, so fair and easy enough problems, just clarifying on the different concepts that we have. Just one moment, people. Okay, so we will deal with more problems in permutations. How many words can be formed from the letters of the word daughter so that the vowels never come together? So how many vowels do we have in this word? So D-A-U-G-H-T-E-R. This is basically a vowel, this is basically a vowel, and this is basically a vowel. So the vowels always come together. So if the vowels are coming together, so we can say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 8 letters, out of which 3 vowels are coming together. 8 letters out of which 3 vowels are coming together. So there are 8 letters out of which 3 vowels are coming together. 1 2 and 3. So 3 vowels are coming together. How many combinations can be possible here? Factorial 3 ways. How many combinations are possible here between the 3 letters? Obviously factorial 3 ways. And if we take these 3 letters to be one letter, because they are always together, so these 3 letters to be one letter, so we'll be left with how many letters? 5 letters, and these 5 letters can be arranged in factorial 5 ways. Okay, so 3 letters to be one with, so therefore number of arrangements will be factorial 5 into factorial 3. 3 vowels coming together 3 ways, 3 letters to be one letter, 5 letters, factorial 5 ways, so number of arrangements will be factorial 5 into factorial 3. Okay, so factorial 5 in which the vowels are number of arrangement in which the vowels are coming together, in which the vowels are coming together. Okay, now you have been asked in which the vowels are never coming together. So the number of arrangements in which vowels are never coming together, are never coming together. The vowels are never coming together will be equal to the total number minus number of arrangements in which they are coming together, number of arrangements in which they are coming together. So this will mean total number is how much we have here, factorial 8 ways, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This can be done in factorial 8 ways, and in which they are never coming together, it is factorial 5 into factorial 3 ways. Okay, so this will be the arrangement. Alright, in how many ways can 9 examination papers be arranged so that the best and the worst papers never come together? So 9 examination papers can be arranged in obviously factorial 9 ways. The worst and the best paper never come together. Just let me put my mobile in silent mode. I am getting a call. I am so sorry. One second here. Okay, so of course it depends upon the students whether the paper is best or worst, but still, in how many ways can 9 examination papers be arranged so that the best and the worst paper never come together? Now total number of ways in which, without any consideration, total number of ways in which they can be arranged will be factorial 9 ways. The total number of ways in which they can be arranged is factorial 9 ways. The best and the worst papers never come together. So how can we arrange this? See, the best and the worst papers, let's say we take a case of they being always together. The best and worst papers always together. The best and the worst papers always together. In how many ways will this be possible? Factorial 8 ways. The best and the worst papers to be always together. Total number of ways is factorial 9 ways. The best and the worst papers always together will be factorial 8 ways, because here we have considered the best and the worst to be one paper only. Okay, so now we will have, no, I am making a mistake here. Total number of ways of arranging 9 papers will be factorial 9 ways. The best and the worst papers taken together. Yes, so if they are taken together, we will have 8 papers now to arrange, and that can be done in factorial 8 ways. Now the best and the worst papers within themselves can be arranged in factorial 2 ways, correct? Within themselves, the best one comes first, worst one comes next, or vice versa. So this will be factorial 2 ways. So therefore the required arrangement says that the best and the worst cannot come together. So this will be total number of arrangements minus the total number of combinations. So the total number of combinations of best and worst is factorial 2 into factorial 8 minus factorial 2 into factorial 8, whatever the number comes out to be. Okay, all right. So we have the next question here. How many numbers between 400 and 1000 can be formed with the digits 0? Okay, so between 400, see, between some space management to be done here, 400 to 1000, we have basically all are 3-digit numbers. So 400, this first place, look at the way in which this first place can be filled. First place cannot be filled by 0, cannot be filled by 2, and cannot be filled by 3 as well, because all these numbers have to be equal to or greater than 400. So it can only be filled by 4, 5 and 6. So the first 3 places, so the hundreds place can be filled only by 3 numbers. Okay, now so the first place can be, now we have 1 2 3 4 5 6, all these 6 numbers can be arranged in these two places in, okay, so once we have selected a digit, we will be left with this. There is no repetition allowed if no digits are repeated in the same number. Okay, so no repetition allowed will be, so once we have selected one digit out of 3 4 or 5, we will be left with 1 2 3 4 5, yes, 5 digits. So 5 digits can be arranged in this in two places. So therefore number of arrangements will be this 3 into 5 p2. This will be the total number of arrangements that will happen for this one. Okay. Alright people, some more problems on permutations and combinations. Okay, the first problem that we have here is the number of lattice points. Okay, now what do we actually mean by lattice points? Lattice points in coordinate geometry means integral points. So let's say we can have 0 1 or maybe 3 2, these are integral points. The points like 0.5 or 1.3, these are not considered to be lattice points. So lattice points are basically in coordinate geometry those points which are represented by integers on the x and y axis, not fractional or decimal points. Okay, so the number of lattice points that lie exactly in the interior of a triangle with vertices 0 0 0 21 and 21 0. So let's have a rough figure out here. So let's say if I construct this, so 0 0 0 21 0 21, so this will be, let's say 0 21 and 21 0 and the third point is 0 0. So this is how the triangle is formed. 0 0, first point, let's say we name this as O, we name this as A and this as B. 0 0 0 21 and 21 0, how many lattice points can be formed out here? So let's consider this. Okay, now lattice point again means integral points. So let's say I take this, so we can only have it along x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, or y is equal to 1, y is equal to 2, and so on and so forth. So I, let's say, draw this line, x is equal to 1. So what are the lattice points which will be inside the triangle? So it will be 1 1, then we have 1 2, and so on and so forth. We have it till here. This will be obviously on the triangle, so we cannot include this point, because here it is said interior of the triangle. So the last point that I will have on this line is 119. So along x is equal to 1, what points can be included? 1 1 1 2 till 119. So how many points are there here? 19 points. Similarly, if I take the line x is equal to 2, what points will I have? 2 1 2 2 till 218. So we will have approximately 18 points, and so on and so forth. So all these points if we take, so what will be my last point here? X is equal to 20. In x is equal to 20, x is equal to 20 will have only one point, that is 20 and 1. So there is 1 point. Okay, so number of possible combinations will be 19 plus 18 plus 17 plus 16 and so on and so forth till 1. So this will be the possible combination. Okay, so these are the number of lattice points that lie exactly in the interior of a triangle with vertices this. Now we will have to add this up. Oh, this seems to be a task. Okay, 16 plus 15 plus 14 plus 14 plus 13 plus 12 plus 11 plus 10 till 1. Okay, so let's quickly add this up here. First add this up. 1 2 plus 1 3 6 plus 4 10 5 15 15 plus 6 21 21 plus 7 28 28 plus 8, or we can do an AP form here. AP is sum of 19 terms. This will be n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So this will be n by 2, that is basically 19 by 2. 19 by 2 sum of n terms. So we have 1 to 19. 1 to 19. So we will have 20 terms out here. I'm sorry. We will have 20 terms out here. And 2a, that is 2 into 1 plus n minus 1. N minus 1, that is 19 into d. Okay, so we have here 10 into 19 plus 2. 10 into 19 plus 2, that will be 21. So we will have, we don't have an answer here. Oh my god, why don't we have an answer here? 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Are we on the right page? Are the options given correct here? Let me check here. No, this will be, so this is correct. So we will have 19 here. We will have 19 terms here. Okay, 2 into 1 into 18 into 1. Yes, I am sorry. So this will be 19 by 2 into 2 into 1 to 18 into 18 plus 1, that will be 20. 18 plus 2, that will be 20, and this is 19. So this will be 190. Yes, this is correct. Okay, so this is basically 190. This is 190. Oh, we hardly have any place left here. So let's rub this off. Okay, so the next question is A is equal to XYZ and B is equal to PQRS. B is equal to PQRS. We'll get some space here. Let's rub this off as well. A is equal to XYZ and B is equal to PQRS. What is the number of distinct relations from B to A? Okay, so if I say B into A, the number of distinct relations will be 4 into 3, that is 12. Okay, what is the number of distinct relations? So this will be the number of elements out here. So B into A will have, cardinal number of B into A will be 12. Now what will be the number of distinct relations? So we know that for any set, the number of subsets is equal to 2 to the power of n, where n is its cardinal number. So in this case also, since there are 12 elements, this will be 2 to the power of 12. 2 to the power of 12. Now we know 2 to the power of 6 is 32. So this will be 32 into 32. Let's quickly get this multiplied here. 32 into 32. So this will be 64. Why are we not getting an answer here? X, Y, Z. What is that number? 2. No, 2 to the, okay, I am wrong here. 32 into 2. 32 into 2. Yes, 2 to the power of 6 will be 64. I am so sorry. So this will be 1024 into 4. And that's going to be how much? 4 4s are 16, 4 2s are 8, 1 9, 0 4s are 0. Yes, 4096. Yes, this will be 4096. I am sorry. I was taking 2 to the power of 5 as 32. So this will be 2 to the power of 6, 2 to the power of 6. So basically 1024 into 4, that is 4096. Okay. The number of ways in which 3 holiday tickets can be given to 20 employees in an organization if each employee is eligible for any number of tickets. Okay, so 3 tickets are there. 3 tickets are there to be distributed amongst 20 employees. So it's very important to understand the permutation factor here. We don't have to just keep on blindly applying the formula. We have to understand what arrangement is required. For example, in these examples that we just now saw, the triangle example, this example, or maybe this example, we don't find any direct formulas of permutations being used. So until unless we have an understanding about the arrangement, it will be difficult to solve these problems. These problems in mathematics cannot just be solved by applying simple formulas. There is more to it. Okay, so 3 tickets again can be distributed amongst 20 employees. Now each of these 20 employees can get any of these number of tickets. So 20 employees in the first case, 20 employees in the second case, 20 employees in the third case. So the first ticket can be given to 20 employees, second ticket also can be the first ticket can be given to 20 employees, second ticket also can be given to 20 employees, the third ticket can also be given to 20 employees. So this will be 20 into 20 into 20. That will be 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8,000. So this is going to be the answer. Okay. So as we saw in these examples, no particular formula of permutation is applicable. We have to understand the arrangement and solve these problems. Okay. Okay, so in this case we have two problems. Where is my chalk gone? Okay. If set A has 5 elements, then the number of ways of selecting two subsets of P and Q of A such that P intersection Q is null set. So what we are trying to select here is, so let's say let A be represented as, let be any representation A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. So basically A has elements AI which are less than equal to 1 and less than equal to 5. So here A has 5 elements. So A has 5 elements, then the number of ways. Now these 5 elements can be such, the number of ways of selecting two subsets P and Q of A, two subsets P and Q of A such that P and Q is equal to null set. Now we have AI can be selected in the following ways. What are the ways in which this can happen? This can happen such that AI is equivalent to P and AI is equivalent to Q, which means that AI is a part of P intersection Q. So AI is basically belonging to P intersection Q. Okay, so this is the first option. The second option is AI is not a part of P and AI is basically a part of Q. So basically AI will not be a part of P intersection Q. Okay, the third option is AI is a part of P and AI is not a part of Q, which means again AI will not be a part of P intersection Q. The fourth option here we have is AI is not a part of P and AI is not a part of Q as well. So AI will not be a part of either P or nor Q. So basically AI will here not be a part of P union Q. Okay. Now understand this question. See, P and Q are subsets. So maybe they do not contain any elements of A, maybe do not contain any elements of A. So in this case, what is being asked here, if set A has 5 elements, then the number of ways of selecting two subsets P and Q of A such that P and Q is 0. So here also P intersection Q is 0, here also P intersection Q is 0, here also we have P intersection Q as 0. So here P intersection Q will be 0, P intersection Q will be 0. Again, since no elements are there in this also P intersection Q will be 0 or null set. So we have 3 ways in which P intersection Q is 0. Now for each of these 5 elements, we have 3 ways. So therefore the total number of ways for each of these 5 elements we will have 3 ways. The total number of ways will be 3 to the power of 5. Okay, for each of these 3 elements we will have these 5 ways. Okay, so the total number of elements will be 3 to the power of 5. Okay, all right. So now, so for A1 we have 3 ways, A2 we have 3 ways, A3 we have 3 ways, and so on and so forth. So this will be total 3 to the power of 5. Okay, now we have, let x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay, so x is equal to 1 to 10 and a is equal to 1 to 5. The number of subsets of b of x such that a minus b is equal to 4. Okay, now look at this, a minus b. Now we don't know what set b is. We have to basically make the set b. So what could be b? B has to be containing these elements at least 1, 2, 3 and 5. It should not contain 4 because a minus b is equal to 4. So a already contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let x is equal to this and a, the number of subsets of b of x. Now b has to be a subset of x. So can there be more possible combinations? So b definitely has to contain this, and b will contain all the elements, that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and their subsets. So basically B will be a union of 1, 2, 3, 5 and all subsets of the remaining elements, that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is fixed for B. We can say that is union of these two sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is fixed for B, and all subsets of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many elements do we have here? 5. How many subsets are possible? 2 to the power of 5. So the answer will be 2 to the power of 5. Do we have an option here? 2 to the power of 5. Where is the option gone? Oh, okay, we have 2 to the power of 5. Yes, 2 to the power of 5. Okay, so this is how arrangements are possible. I am highlighting these types of problems to you is because mostly in permutations and combinations, students generally go after memorizing the formulas of different types of permutations and combinations without understanding the core concepts. If you look in the last 4 or 5 examples, we have not used NPR at all. Okay, we are just going deep into the concepts. What are the arrangements that are actually possible and how to crack these problems. Okay. Okay, people, some more questions on arrangements. Okay, number of positive integral solutions of x1 into x2 into x3 into x4 is 210. So how many number of positive solutions can we get? See, first what we'll do is this 210. So let's kind of do a prime factorization of this. 205, 3, 5, 5, 7 and 7, 1. Okay, so basically 210 can be written as 2 into 3 into 5 into 7, or x1, x2, x3, x4 is equal to 210 as it is given. So how many solutions can we have? This is basically, see, this 2 can be placed in any of these places, in 4 ways. This 2 can be placed in any of these places in 4 ways. Similarly, this 3 can be placed in any of these 4 places in 4 ways. 5 can be placed, and similarly 7 can be placed. So what we have is 4 numbers and 4 places. Okay, so this will be 4 to the power of 4. That will be how much? 4 4 is 16, 16 4 is 64, 64 into 4, that will be 256. So this is going to be the answer. So 4 to the power of 4, that is 256. Okay. Alright, now we have the sum, the number of 4-digit numbers that can be formed by using the digits. So all digits basically have been used except 0, which are divisible by 3. Okay, when repetition of digits is allowed any number of times. Okay, now look at this. See, a number which is divisible by 3, a number which is, this is something that we have learnt in the 9th and the 10th standard, divisible by Euclid's division lemma, we have learned it. Okay, divisible by 3 can be expressed as either 3m, where m is any integer, or 3m plus 1, or so the numbers basically, any number basically can be expressed as, let's forget about divisibility by 3, any number can, see, by Euclid's division lemma. Euclid's division lemma says that a is equal to bq plus r, where r is greater than equal to 0 and less than less than a is bq, yes, remainder is less than okay, clear? So we already have this, and by this we can say that any number, if we take 3 as the divisibility, so any number, let's say a, can be written as 3q plus r. Okay, 3q plus r, where the remainder is less than 3 and greater than 0. Remainder is less than 3 and greater than 0. Any number if we divide it. Okay, so what combinations can we have? What combinations? So any number can be expressed as 3 into 1 or 3q, let's say 3q plus, if the remainder is 0, 3q plus 1 if the remainder is 1, and 3q plus 2. These are the only remainders that we are going to get. So the numbers can be expressed as 3q, the number can be expressed as 3q plus 1, or any number. Any number here can be expressed in three formats: 3q, 3q plus 1, and 3q plus r. We are basically using this division lemma: a is equal to 3q plus r if a is equal to bq plus r, if a is divided by b. So we get this format, that is a is equal to 3q plus r, where r is greater than equal to 0 and less than 3. So in that case we will have these three as the number formats: 3q plus r, which is 0, which means that the number is exactly divisible by 3, which means that the number is not divisible by 3 because we are getting 1 as a remainder, which means the number is not divisible by 3 because we are getting 2 as a remainder. Obviously 3 cannot be a remainder. Okay, so now if we look at it, we have to form a 4-digit number. So we have to basically form a 4-digit number: 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 digits can be occupied by any of these digits. So we have 9 ways to fill it. Again, repetition is allowed, so obviously 9 ways to fill it. Again, repetition is allowed, so again 9 ways to fill it. Now we have to think about this, because we have to make this number divisible by 3. Okay, so the first case is when we get a number here which gives us this format, that is 3q format. Okay, so in that case 3q format, so we can get any number. So how can we get, which number can we get here? So here we have selected any number, 3q format, which means that this number, so whatever we have selected here, let's say we add. So we add the first place, we are adding here, we are adding these numbers. So by adding all these 4 we get the 3q format. By adding all these 4 we get the 3, or rather by adding, yes, by adding all these 4. Okay, so this is one case, this is one case. Okay, and let's say by adding all these, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, or rather 1, 2, 3, we are adding 1, 2, 3. If we get 3q as the format, what can we fill this 4th place with? Okay, so adding the first 3, I am so sorry for the confusion. So adding the first 3, we get a number 3q divisible by 3. What is the 4th place that we can fill it with? We can fill it with 3, because 3q plus 3 will be divisible by 3. We'll get 3q plus 3, because any number which is divisible by 3, the sum of the digits has to be divisible by 3. So here we have 3q plus 3, which is again what? 3q plus 1 divisible by 3. If we fill it with 6, obviously it will be divisible by 3, because 3q plus 6, which will be 3 into q plus 2 divisible by 3. Okay, if we fill it with 9, okay, 3q plus 9, so this will be 3q plus 3, so this will be divisible by 3. So here we have 3 numbers which can be filled here, that is 3, 6 and 9, provided the sum of the first 3 digits is of the format 3q plus 1. We can fill the last digit with 3, 6 or 9, because any which ways the repetitions are allowed. So 9 numbers can be filled here, 9 numbers can be filled here, and all 9 numbers can be filled here. So we already have that combination. Okay, now let's say adding the first 3 gives us the sum as 3q plus 1, because all numbers can be expressed in 3 formats. So we have already selected the first format. Now let's say we get 3q plus 1, so we have to make this 1 as 3 or 6 or 9. How can we do this? By taking the last number as 2. So if we select 3q plus 1, this is the sum of the digits of the first 3, and if we select the last number as 2, we get 3q plus 3, which makes the number divisible by 3. 3q plus 1, this number will be divisible by 3. Okay, adding the first 3, so 3q plus 1, so this will be, one choice is 2. Okay, then we have 1 can be added to 5 to make it 6. Yes, so 3q plus 1 plus 5 will give you 3q plus 6. Again, this number will be divisible because this is 3q plus 2. So we can select 6 here. No, 5. I'm so sorry. This is 5. Okay, we are selecting the number 5 here. Okay, what else can we do? 1 can be made as 9 by adding 8. So this will be 3q plus 1 plus 8, which gives us 3q plus 9. So sum of the digits is basically divisible by 3. Okay, so these are the three numbers which we can fill. Okay, now if adding the first three numbers gives us a number in the format of 3q plus 2, 3q plus 2. So now this 2 has to be converted into, so if we add 2, we can add 4, so this will make it 3q plus 6, that will be 3 into q plus 2. We can add 2 plus 7, yes, we can add 7. Okay, so we can add 7, so this will be 3q plus 7, 3q plus 2 plus 7, so that will be 3q plus 9, that will be 3q plus 3, again divisible, so we can add 4, 7, what else, is there anything remaining? Okay, so 4 and 7, 3q plus 2, 2 plus 4. Okay, we can add 1 as well, yes, 1 as well, because 3q plus 2 plus 1 will give us 3q plus 3, so that will be 3q plus 1. This will also be divisible. So the last number can be filled in 3 ways, right? 3 numbers, depending upon what is the sum of the digits. What is the sum of the digits in the first 3 places? We can fill the last number in three ways. Okay, so the number of ways in which we can fill, the first place is 9, this multiplied by 9, this multiplied by 9, and this last place in each of these cases can be filled in 3 ways. So 3. So this will be the total number of ways. So we have here 729 into 3, that will be 2187. So this will be the answer. A tricky question, but again, as I'm selecting these problems so that we understand the core concepts about permutation. It's just not about memorizing the formulas and applying them, it's also to apply the core concepts out here. Okay.